Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm as always Captain Kuijt, and as some of you surely know, EA is again so nice to us old school gamers by shutting down more Battlefield games. Which means after 2023 you can no longer play Bad Company 1 and 2 and Battlefield 1943 on the official master servers. But luckily the community stepped up again and at least Bad Company 2 is saved. There are already some community servers out there, and a very friendly neighborhood player created also a guide to make the switch from the official servers to the new servers much easier. And this friendly player is now in the same Discord. Hi there, how are you doing?
Hi mate, all good there, you?
Not bad, crazy day. As always, if you have a child, it gets crazy, but it's fine.
It's an interesting experience to say the least.
Definitely, yeah, sure. But let's switch back the topic to the main core here. Who are you?
Who I am? I'm a 26-year-old guy who, originally I'm from the Netherlands, and I moved to Norway in the winter of 2001, and that's where I've been living since, basically.
And what brought you into this cold region?
Well, I wouldn't say it's technically, I didn't have that much of a say in it, considering I was like 5 years old back then. But yeah, no. Basically, we were living in a pretty cramped little apartment back then, and then they got me, and then they got my younger sister a couple of years later, and they were. You could say that the apartment was getting a little bit small, and they weren't really too fond of living in a city either. And they actually had been on vacation to Norway if I recall, they had been in vacation to Norway in 94 and 95. And they pretty much fell in love with it. And soon after they began to do some research on, could we move there? And if so, how? And that's pretty much how we ended up there. And that's where I have been living since.
I see. And I guess there was also the first contact with the Battlefield franchise?
Yes. Yeah. That started in 2010, in August of that year. In August 2010, I would have turned 14 a month before that. And I actually hadn't heard of the Battlefield games at all. I had actually heard of a FPS game before, but that was only Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I saw the trailer of that game on YouTube in the winter of 2009, and I was really excited about that, but I soon forgot about it, I guess, because I didn't really end up doing anything more with it. But then in August of 2010, a classmate of mine, he had bought Battlefield Bad Company 2. He had bought the disc version for his PC, but when he tried to run the game, he found that, I can run it, but it runs at like 5 FPS, so maybe this isn't exactly ideal. So he said, if you want to have it, I will let you have it for, just a small little sum. And I was like, sure, I could give it a shot, I guess. And that's pretty much how I entered into it.
And after it, you also checked out the other Battlefield games, or did you just stay in Bad Company?
I stayed in Bad Company 2 for all of 2010, I think, because I know that either in 2011 or 2010, there was also a Battlefield game that came out, which was Battlefield Play for Free, which was in beta mode. I think it actually might have been in the winter of 2010 that game came out in beta. Closed beta, which I actually was a part of that, and then the open beta as well. It was a pretty decent game, but it quickly turned into pay to win really fucking fast. And at that point, I didn't have a lot of interest left in the game, so I pretty much went back to Bad Company 2 back then. Around the winter of 2010, I also found out about a rather old game, actually. I found out about a earlier Battlefield game called Battlefield 2142, and the first time I saw the intro of that game, which I found on YouTube, I was just fucking captivated by it. I was blown away. And I'm not quite sure what exactly it was that really captivated me so much, but there was just something about this game that like really just caught my eye, you could say. At the time, I didn't have money for that game. At the time, there was actually a demo version of the game available, which you could download for free on, I believe, on Origin, if I'm not entirely mistaken. Or it might have been on the EA website even. Either way, I got the demo version, which was a multiplayer demo, and you were actually free to play the multiplayer demo as much as you wanted to. The only restriction on it was that you couldn't rank up, so you couldn't use anything else except the guns that you already had unlocked at the very start of it. And you only had a single map. But apart from that, it was very much the full experience of the game. And I spent hundreds of hours in that. Definitely.
Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes funny how much you can do as a child in one single map on one demo. It's interesting.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And talking about Bad Company 2, did you more or less stay on the vanilla side, or did you also try out the expansion Vietnam, or didn't you like it?
I tried out Vietnam, I believe, a few weeks after it launched, because, as a 14-year-old boy, my personal economy was somewhat limited, you could say, so it wasn't like, every time something new and shiny was out, I would be the absolute first one to have it. No, but I think it was a week or so after the Vietnam expansion dropped, I got my hands on it, and I really enjoyed it. Apart from Vantage Point, which is one map that I would say is after Heavy Metal in the vanilla game, I would say Vantage Point is probably my least favorite map in the entire game, because you basically have one giant hilltop, and whichever team controls that hilltop can basically shoot into the other team's spawn. And there's pretty much only one way to go up the hill, so anyone who gets to the hilltop first, they are basically almost guaranteed to win. So, but of course there were some other maps in there which I genuinely enjoyed. Operation Hastings was a lot of fun, and there was, what was it called? The big open map with vehicles on it. The Vietnam map. Give me a sec. Phu Bai Valley. That's the one, yeah. Operation Hastings and Phu Bai Valley, I would say I enjoyed most. Hill 137 was decent, but it turns into a bit of a choke fest. And Khao Son Temple, it's definitely, yeah, it sort of suffered from the same issue as Hill 137, where like it's like a really linear map. So eventually, one team is going to be sitting on one side, and the other team is going to be sitting on one side, and they're just going to be spamming grenades, RPGs, and all that back and forth, and it kind of turns into Operation Metro, which, some people, they would probably like that. I personally don't.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah, agreed.
And what would you say is the reason you still play this game after so many years? What keeps you in this game?
The reason why I'm still in the game is, most of all, because I have a lot of fond memories from the game. It was my introduction to the series, after all. Actually, as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention, but it was my first FPS game back then. So definitely at the start, I don't have quite so good memories from it, because I was getting my fucking ass handed to me. But I just figured, well, if I I can go play something else, but then you're not going to get better at this game. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I just push on, basically. And yeah. As for why I still play it nowadays, pretty much just because it's a genuinely good game. And I definitely like how simple it is compared to the more newer Battlefield games. Like, there's not so much unlocks, cosmetic items, and all that stuff. Like, it just sort of like feels like it's a simpler time, you know?
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely on the same page here. I don't like all those crazy unlocks.
Yeah.
Especially if you lock certain vital items behind a leveling system. A defibrillator or the wrench.
Jet unlocks in Battlefield 3 looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they went over the fucking top with that when it came to Battlefield 3, and especially when it came to Battlefield 4, which I think maybe could even be renamed to Unlock Simulator 4, because holy hell, there was so much fucking stuff that you could unlock. Like, it was just absolutely insane. And I think even on Battlefield 3, you actually had to... You didn't have flares to start with because you had to unlock those. And imagine if you're flying a fucking jet and something just locks onto you and you're thinking, okay, well, I can just use flares, right? No, you can't use flares because you have to unlock that. So until you have, then you're pretty much just going to get shot down constantly, and there's little to nothing that you can actually do. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, it was really, really stupid.
Yeah, great times indeed.
So I can totally understand that you prefer Bad Company too.
Oh, yes, certainly I do. Absolutely.
And did you also play in a clan, or maybe did you have a favorite server?
I did. I did actually have a clan of my own, which is called THB, which I first started in 2013, which was originally a Left 4 Dead 2 based clan, centered around speedrunning, basically. But over time, we spread to multiple games, and yeah. I would say we played Bad Company 2 somewhat actively, I would say, around, I think, 2015, 16, and 17, and to a lesser extent 18. But I would say after 18, you could say the clan pretty much just started to, like, die out. And these days, I think it's fair to say it exists in name only, really, unfortunately.
Yeah, another thing I can share with you. My clan tag also basically exists only in name only. We have a Discord, but yeah, it's a ghost town.
Yeah. Well, actually, favorite servers, I actually thought of something just now. I actually did have a favorite server, which was KOS, which was actually a North American Bad Company 2 server. The reason why I love that one is because it played Portable Des 24/7, which at the time was my favorite map in the game. So that one I was on quite a lot, I would say. I actually don't recall having too many ping issues on there, so I think it must have been located somewhere on the eastern side of the United States, possibly, but yeah, it was quite doable.
Not bad. I have experience on other shooters. Even that distance is sometimes a pain in the ass.
Oh yes, certainly.
Talking about your favorites, do you have any favorite game modes, features, weapons?
Favorite game modes and features? Oof. That would be a pretty tough one to answer. I mean, there is stuff that I enjoy more than others, but like, if we're talking about classes or stuff like that, I would say I don't really have a favorite. I would say I actually enjoy playing as pretty much everything. I personally like to be what the situation demands, you could say. So, like, yeah, if there's a heli squad that's just raping us, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to be playing engineer. If I find out that, okay, let's see, now we are going to be playing rush mode, I'm going to prioritize medic more. Or if I'm on the attacker's team. If I'm on the defender's team, I would say engineer if there's vehicles, assault if there's not, or if I'm feeling a bit lazy, I'm just going to play as recon. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite class per se. A favorite weapon I do have, or at least had. These days I'm a bit more versatile on that too. The F2000 would be my favorite weapon in the game. Mostly because I feel like it's sort of a overlooked weapon because it does have a little bit less damage than the majority of the assault rifles has. But to make up for that, it has the lowest spread and the lowest recoil of any assault gun in the game, which actually makes it quite effective at taking out snipers, even like from medium to long distances even, which is always funny to see their reaction on that.
Oh, so a good weapon to cheat a little bit. Nice. I need it.
Yeah, man, of course. Great stuff, great fun.
But I guess as in every game, there is also a downside. What is in this game really annoying you?
There actually isn't a lot that annoys me in the game. I would say besides if I go on the server browser and I'm like, okay, well, I want to do some gaming here now. And yeah, this is going to be nice and fun. And then I look on the server browser and the only two populated servers are playing Heavy Metal or Arica Harbor Conquest mode. And I'm like, oh god, yeah, I'm just going to go back to ESO again. Because those are two maps that I really don't understand why people like the mods. Arica Harbor on Rush mode is a genuinely well-designed and fun map. But on Conquest mode, it turns into a sniper fest, which just isn't really what I like in the game. Heavy Metal suffers from much the same issue, just because for those of you who started the game around the same time as me, you might maybe recall that Heavy Metal wasn't a multiplayer map, or originally it was a single-player mission, and then they basically just made a multiplayer map out of a smaller segment of it. And, well, it kind of shows that that might not have been quite the best idea, because it is a enormous open fucking map. Like, if you're not inside of a fucking vehicle, you are gonna get sniped over and over and over again.
Yeah, this is something which leads to at least on my side, that I deinstall the game very fast.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
If this is the first map I will try, it's...
Yeah? Oh god.
I know that problem from other games, so I can see that. That this is annoying.
Oh yes, certainly.
But switching, of course, quickly back to the positive side, what special memories do you have in this game?
Special memories, I would say, or favorite memories, I would say those times that I was playing on Port Valdez, and I'm not a very good pilot in the game. As a matter of fact, I'm not a very good pilot in any game, ever. But I am a pretty damn fucking good gunner, I would say. I don't know if that's particularly hard to do. I'm probably going to guess not. But I would definitely consider myself to be quite good at that, because my ability to like see what's around you, like what's it called?
Perception?
No, not perception. It's vision something. But yeah, there's definitely not much that goes unnoticed by me. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty fucking good at that. And there have been times where I have jumped into a gunner seat, and we happen to have a amazing pilot. And I think the record that I have so far on that map, being in the gunner seat of a heli, would have, I think it was 83-2 or something like that. That's
really not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. My other favorite memory is when I was playing the Vietnam DLC, and I was on the North Vietnamese side, and I was playing on Operation Hastings, Conquest mode, and then basically at one point I figured, well, I'm just going to jump into a tank, and I was hiding underneath the bridge on C while in the gunner seat. Something that's also a little fun fact about this game is that if you're in the gunner seat and there's no one in the driver's seat, the engine is gonna turn off and it's not gonna make sound.
Oh, good to know.
Which basically means that if people aren't paying attention to their mini-maps or to the bigger size map, they're not gonna notice that this tank is very much occupied. Like I would basically just not move the gunner seat until I saw that, okay, there's one guy that's like moving somewhere, and then I would fire, and after he was there, then I would stop moving. And the entire enemy fucking team, they just kept coming towards C, that would be from point A and B, and I'm somewhat wondering if they were just completely new to the fucking game, because they didn't manage to actually take out my tank even once in that one round. And that round I went 62-8 just from that, which was pretty amusing. I actually left that round before the round ended because there were several people on the enemy side who were saying that, hey, there's a fucking aimbotter here, and I was getting a little bit worried that it was genuinely starting to look a bit off. And I was like, oh, if there's a admin on here and he's feeling a little bit sour today, he might just think, oh yeah, this guy's definitely hacking and I'm going to be banned. So I was like, okay, I've done 62-8, I'm going to call today and I'm just going to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, in many games, I would imagine you would have been banned.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
But looking back to your entire gaming career in this game, what would you recommend a new player starting for basically the first time here?
I would say the most important thing is to keep going and don't give up, because you are going to be up against players who have been there since day one. Or at very least, people who have been in the game for years and years and years, and they know every inch of every map inside out. They know exactly, they know the recoil of each and every gun, and you don't, so you are going to be hammered down on. But I would say if you just simply keep on going, then you are going to be there one day. Absolutely.
Just have to survive for a long, long time.
Yes, yeah, essentially. And I would say maybe stock up on replacement keyboards, because while you're getting better at the game, it is going to be frustrating as hell. Absolutely.
As we mentioned at the beginning, soon there is no longer the possibility to switch on the game and play on the official master servers, and you have to use the community servers. And I can every new player recommend to go to your guide and check it out. But basically, why did you create it?
Well, basically because I went on, I think I randomly came across the news on that from some guy on a ESO Discord who actually is a pretty big fan of that game as well. So I heard about it a couple of weeks or so later. And then I immediately went to the Bad Company 2 sub Reddit and the main Battlefield Reddit, and I saw that there was little to no mention of the community ran master server, Project Rome, which is also known as Nexus emulator, which has been up since, I actually believe, since 2010. And I was kind of shocked that no one really seems to be mentioning it. And I was like, well, if no one else is doing that, then I should do it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and write the full-on guide, and I will do my best to make sure that as many are going to hear it before the game is taken offline.
It's sometimes really strange that nobody of the community is doing that especially if somebody is creating a community master server but doesn't write a guide. So why?
Yeah, exactly. I would say the most frustrating experience of that definitely has to be that I messaged the moderators of both of the sub Reddits 3 times, and I said, well, hey, look, the servers of the game are going to be shut down, and daily there is people that are saying rest in peace and all that stuff, and saying, oh man, I'm going to miss this game and all that, and yeah, look, obviously they don't know that there's a alternative out there, so I have made a guide here. If you could please sticky it so that everyone can see it, that would be a tremendous help. And I messaged them on 3 separate occasions with, I believe, a week's interval, and I never got a answer back. So I was like, okay, then it pretty much falls to me then. So these days, I pretty much just go on the subreddits and I keep an eye out to see if anyone else has asked something on there, or and just making sure that as many are going to be informed as possible. And I also go in-game on the EA Master server, and I actually have a macro on my keyboard that basically types out the whole sentence and the link to the guide. So I'm pretty much going to keep on doing that until the end, and hopefully it's going to reach everyone. But of course, there's always some who it's not going to reach, sadly enough.
But at least it shows really your passion you have about this game. It's really, really good to see that there is at least one soul out on the internet who really does this effort to save this.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the future of the game? Is it really so uncertain, or are there still many servers online who try to save it?
There is still a pretty decent amount of servers online, actually. I would say that the community, while it's not where it was in, say, 2015 and 16 and 18, it's still a pretty active community, I would say. And those that still play the game nowadays are very loyal fans of the game. I don't think there's a lot of genuine newcomers to the game still these days, but I would say it could be looking somewhat bleak as well, because, of course, the word that there is a workaround after the shutdown is not going to reach everyone in time, but hopefully most are going to see it. But definitely, I don't think there's going to be as many people on there afterwards. I'm hoping more than half, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, at least I would also try to push this a little bit. I think no game should basically have a silent death and nobody could ever play it again. I think gaming is art and it has to be preserved in any possible way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I would say we slowly close it off here. And yeah, well, do we have anything else? Is there anything we have missed?
Yes, I could also mention that for those of you who are wondering, is there a way to continue playing Bad Company 1 and Battlefield 1943, which were only released on Xbox and on PlayStation after the shutdown? As of now, no. But it looks like there actually might be, at least on PlayStation 3. Whether or not it's going to need any kind of modding of the actual console itself, I'm not entirely certain. But at least there's still hope.
Okay, I would say that's it for this video. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think about the game, and of course, play the game.